Hey there, minions. This is the Goblin King, and it's another weekend with another Friday Night Tights after effect. Yet, here I am, pulling myself out of my self-induced joy coma.
Giggity.
To bring you another week of failures from the clown world. Some possible good stuff too. Every once in a while, the clowns surprise you after all. So, tonight, we have a Golden Age starlet speaking her mind. Another Hollywoke celeb with a small bone to pick with Disney. A rumor fan favorite regeneration, a freedom-loving hero, for once, and Kotaku not failing, also for once. All this and more on This Week in Pop Culture. So be prepared, boys and girls, because we're coming in raw and hard on this one. The first story for the week comes from good old Bounding into Comics. This one is speaking of a recent interview Goldie Hawn did with Megyn Kelly. During the interview, when Kelly states that, and I'm paraphrasing here, Hollywood starts lecturing Middle America about morality, they basically get told to save their lectures for someone else. To which Hawn agreed emphatically, elaborating the point by stating, and again, paraphrasing, because her point was rather roundabout, Hollywood is there to entertain and for escapism. Championing a cause is fine, but creating teams and division isn't what we do. The article then goes on to talk about the stuff from Ricky Gervais that I covered last week. It even brings Pat Sajak, who's surprisingly based, into the mix with this tweet, as well as a quote from Anthony Hopkins back in 2019 where he said he is just an actor and has no opinions. I suppose the next story I should cover will be that Peter Dinklage fiasco. Mostly this article here from Bounding is just a placeholder. Something to have on the screen while I'm venting my spleen here. I'll sum up this article really quick before I get into my own annoyance. This one talks about the issues that we all already know with Dinklage, speaking about the lack of progressivism in the live-action remake of Snow White, calling Disney out for using a Latina for Snow White, but still featuring supposedly stereotypical dwarves in the story. And this is where my own annoyance comes in. Snow White is a folktale out of old Germany. Not sure how old it is, but it was collected by the Grimms in the 19th century and it was already old by then. There are actually quite a few different tales of Snow White from Germany. Some of them even feature her having a sister, Rose Red. The dwarves from the tale weren't little people. They were never any sort of stand-in for real-life little people. The dwarves from the tale were what many would term as fey creatures, or fairies, or spirits, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. The dwarves were based on the legendary creatures from Nordic and Germanic mythology and folklore. Not people with dwarfism. In fact, the condition of dwarfism is literally named after the mythical fey folk. Peter Dinklage is a fucking moron. He's a fucking moron that literally just screwed a whole bunch of little people out of a nice fat paycheck, if this article is anything to go by. Good on you, Dinklage, you fucking twat. The next story I originally found out about on Clownfish TV. It seems that there's an interesting rumor floating around the interwebs that a certain fan-favorite doctor could be returning to reprise his role. In the wake of Russell T Davies coming back as showrunner and Sony buying up the franchise, rumors that David Tennant could be returning to play a brief regeneration of the Doctor in the upcoming 60th anniversary specials have begun to spring up. As Neon and many other people have rightfully stated, that precedent for this exists within the established canon, spawning from Tom Baker's lines to Matt Smith in The Day of the Doctor about putting on old faces. This rumor apparently had urinalists across the web shedding salty tears, as this Gizmodo article wonderfully illustrates. In this salty article, they try to make some sort of a case why it's highly unlikely that David Tennant would return, without actually making a case for it. And they state that because the rumor was big enough that it garnered the attention of television urinalists, yet the BBC has stayed mum, that it must mean it's a bunch of hogwash. And tell me, Gizmodo, how long were the rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were returning for Spider-Man No Way Home floating around? A year or more? Did Sony ever even once actually acknowledge those rumors in any official capacity? Ever? Or did they stay mum? Also, tell me, why the fuck would the BBC be issuing any statements on it anyway? They have zero control over that once it leaves the probably overly sweaty palms of chin balls. Dipshits. Co-parter. I hope he does return now, just so I can see how much salt you shed over it that a past better doctor got picked over your Dr. Karen. Cope. Harder. Oh, hey look everyone, I found a shit-covered rag on the internet. God, this place is starting to look a lot like San Francisco. Next thing you know, there'll be used needles sticking out of my computer monitor. My hard drive will be giving handies under a freeway overpass. It'll be great. So, the next story comes from this shit-covered rag, The Hollywood Reporter. Evangeline Lilly, best known for Lost and the Ant-Man movies, went to an anti-mandate rally in DC and decided to post about it on her Instagram account. So this shit rag, like all the other shit rags and twatter, they're basically one and the same at this point, decided to dub Lilly an anti-vaxxer. Like myself, and a lot of other critical thinkers out there, I would guess that Evangeline Lilly is not anti-vaccine, just anti-mandate. They're not the same fucking thing, morons. That's my opinion, of course. I'm not a doctor. You do you. Also, The Hollywood Reporter is a shit rag. That's also my opinion, but it's a correct opinion. In our final story for the week, Kotaku actually did something right. Will wonders never cease. So, for a little backstory to this piece, the YouTuber Totally Not Marked does a lot of anime reviews, apparently. I've never watched his channel, so I don't know what all he covers. Though, just through word of mouth and the article Kotaku has managed to get right, I know that he covers a lot of Toei stuff, specifically Dragon Ball related stuff and One Piece. Back at the end of 2020, this dude was suddenly struck with 150 copyright claims from Toei, and it seems he was ready to step down. That is, until a higher up at YouTube, who remains anonymous, contacted him and wanted to help him out. Decent folk can be in some of the most interesting and unlikely places, can't they? So, for the past year, this guy and YouTube themselves have been battling it out with Toei over these videos. It seems they finally reached some sort of agreement that suits everyone. We'll see how long that holds. It especially suits us as content creators, since I guess I fall into that sphere now. Basically, YouTube applied a previously existing rule to their copyright rules, which allows them to take videos down from other regions that have stricter copyright laws. Which means that a bitchy company like Toei would be able to take down your video in Japan, but it would still be up in the US, for instance. Unless they can make a case under existing US copyright laws, which are far less stringent. And that's pretty cool. See? Even I can talk about nice things every once in a while, and not have a sarcastic comment. Nah, there was plenty of sarcasm in that. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment, Goblins. As always, I encourage you to check out these stories for yourselves. Make up your own minds on things. These are my opinions. Nobody else can have them. They're mine. Get your own. You can give me your opinions in that handy comment section down below. While you're down there, my buttons are in need of some TLC. I'll see you all either tomorrow or Wednesday. Lates.